Hi everyone, so today we are going to build one login authentication page with help of the particle network, and in that we're gonna integrate Conflux space testnet, right? So let's get started. So this is our website that we're gonna build it soon, right? In the left hand side we have the title on the navbar. This is the navbar, right? And on the right hand side we have the very important button which is login, right? So if I click on the login page, then a particle network box will open, and here we can do the passwordless authentication. Means if I type my email, then the one code will be sent, and I just have to put right the code here, and we can easily get into the application, right? And we have many social as well for the authentication. That's a very good thing, because in the MetaMask we only get the address, right, as the login. But in particle network we have many socials like Facebook, Google, and all this, right? By using this you can easily log in this application, means any application, right? And the smart account will be created right on the top of that Google, right? Your Gmail account. So that's the beauty of the particle network, right? So let me log in with my Google only. After logging successfully, I can see my name. So all these are being fetched from the particle network. This is my name which is attached in the Gmail, right? And this is the profile section, and here we have the smart account, right? And the particle network, in this the particle network is playing the role the of EOA, right? So my Gmail account is playing the role of EOA, which is supported by the particle network, right? I hope it makes sense. And then I have the the address which is currently connected to this website, and I can view this address on my Conflux space testnet blockchain explorer. This is the address, right? And there is some transaction which is some 162 days ago, means it's 4 to 5 months back, right? Yeah. So, and this is the balance, right? Which have means this is the balance, right? Which this account holds, right? Yeah. So let's see how can we create this type of the interface, right, for the authentication part. So let's start it. And all these authentication and all these are being done on the Conflux space testnet network, right? So let's get started. So I have the folder, right, of the name front end, and under this folder I have the source folder, right? And source folder is very, very important if we are working with the React project, right? So under source folder we have the component, and in the component we have just two main files, which is nav.jsx and sidemenu.css, right? Nav.jsx is used to create the navbar, in which I have written the one heading, and I have created one button, right? And the second most important part is this hooks, right? Hooks folder. I have all the connection part, right, between the particle network and between particle network and the user, right? So with help of this I just set up the connection part, and I can include this component in any of my page, and it will be worked, right, to face the address, the balance, and all that. So let's suppose you want to start with the particle network, right? So we have you just need to install some library, right? For example, I have installed all this library, right, with the particle network, right? For the account abstraction or creating this authentication, it's necessary, right? And I will provide this code on the GitHub, right? You just can clone and just practice from it, right? So after this, the second most important part is that you have to check whether if you have imported the the particle network, right? That we have set it, right? Which is this Conflux provider, and yeah, Conflux provider in your app.jsx, right? Yeah, I have imported, right, the Conflux provider, because if I didn't import this, then my layout and all this file will not gonna consider this Conflux provider, right? So for this, I have to I have to consider the Conflux provider as the main part and wrap up all the the children parts, right? For example, the layout nav inside it, right? So that's why it all this part will come under the Conflux provider. So this is the important part, right? If you miss this, then the your hooks will the connection part is not gonna work, right? So keep this in mind. After this, let's move to the uh, our nav.jsx, which is very important. So before that, let's see our connection.jsx, because this is the important part, right? If you are building with the particle network, right, with any chain, right? So I've imported some library of the particle network, right? I imported the Conflux space testnet from the particle chain and smart account ethers and all that, right? So I've created one a variable of name Conflux context, right? And I have some variables under this, right, which is owner address and all this, right? And we're gonna use this in all over the our component, right? So that's why I you know uh, make this as a main component in our app.js file, right? So I hope this makes sense, right? If I didn't make this, so I can't able to use this in our whole project, right? Then the main part here is uh, and the main part here is basically our smart account, right? So from this line we are creating a smart account. A smart account basically it's nothing but it will create a that new address, right? New address on the top of the your smart contract. This is the importance part, because in this we are creating a smart account, right? So it will create a smart account, right? For the the any Gmail, right? It will act as a EOA. Your smart account will act as a EOA, right? If you are gonna log in with any, right, Gmail, passwordless or anything, right? So if you log in with the Gmail, then this will particularly will create a smart account, right? And on the top of the Conflux space testnet, right? Then I have the provider, right? I have the use effect, and if user info means if I successfully log in, right, then this will become true, right, and I can face the balance, right? Here I am checking the balance, right, of the but the address, right? Then I am storing under the local storage, right, of the smart balance, and this is the balance, right, of where this is the name, right? If I want to get the balance, then I just use the local storage and dot get item and the name of the the variable, which is smart balance, right? So I have the handle login right here, right? I can and yeah, I can call, right, because I have given the value right here under this Conflux context, right? So I can call this in any uh, component, right? So the work of the handle login is to check whether the user is successfully logged in or not, right? And the chain if and the chain, right, if anyone clicks on the login, right, that the particle network automatically selects the Conflux space testnet, right? And the set loading will be false, right? And if someone click on the logout, then it will disconnect, right? Yeah. So this is the the connection part, right? And if we will gonna call of this, right, whole function, right, with all of the Conflux context, right, in our component, right? Yeah. So we gonna call the use particle, then use particle will bind the Conflux contact all variables, right? And we can use this variable, right, with help of the use particle. So let's see the nav.jsx. Yeah, so I call the use particle, right? In use particle contains all these the variable, right? As for example, handle login is important, right? So I have this so let's see the login, right? If anyone clicks on the login page, then obviously this function will trigger, which is of handle login. And in the handle login, I guess I defined here, right? And this is defined in the connection.jsx, right? So if anyone clicks on the login page, then this function will trigger, and it will set loading as true. And if check this user, if true means the user is already connected or not. If it's connected, right, so it will do nothing, right? And if it's not connected, then we just open the particle network box and it will connect, right? I hope you are getting I hope you are getting what I'm saying, right? So after that, I have the side menu as well. So basically side menu is this, right? All this, right? So this is created by the one file which is known as sidemenu.js, right? So I am calling, here, okay, so I don't think so I'm calling any particle. Okay, I'm calling the use particle again, right? To check the account address, user info and all that, right? So basically user info contains the name, the email, right? The name, right? That you guys are showing here, right? Because it's under the, user info, right? The email as well, right? And all this, right? So this is basically a very, very simple one, right? So yeah, so and the important is just the nav.jsx, and the most important part is connection.jsx, right? So because we have all the connection part, right? The chain, the handle login and all the things here only, right? So this part is very, very, very important, right? Right, so I hope you guys understand. So let's summarize once more. Let's suppose there is a button, right, login. If any user click on this, then this function will trigger, right? Which one? This function will trigger, right? And it will check if the user is already login or not. If user is already login, then it will do nothing, right? If user is not login, then it will connect, right? Social type, right? It will check, right, which social type you guys choose. For example, I choose the Discord, right? It will then connect to the Discord. If I check the Google, right, it will then connect to the Google, right? And the chain is Conflux espace Tesnet, right? Then it will create the smart account for us, right? And every time if you change the your Gmail, the new smart account will be created, right? So the smart account will be created, right, for each Gmails, Discord, and etc, etc, etc. The different smart account will be created for the different sources, right? So yeah, so I hope you guys understand, and thank you so much. If you guys face any doubt, then feel free to comment, right, your doubts, right? And I will provide all the GitHub links and the particle network docs in the description. Stay tuned. Thank you so much.